I've spent the winter mapping out a new 1,000-mile wilderness hiking route across Nevada, and I'm calling it the Basin and Range Trail. It's the driest state in the country, and besides Alaska, it's the most mountainous. There are a few established hiking trails, so I'll be blazing my own path as I go. I'm starting June 1st, and we'll hike through the middle of summer. People tell me it's going to be too hot, not enough water. Rattlesnakes will get me. And maybe they're right. But to me, it sounds like the adventure of a lifetime. I expect to take around 2 months to hike from Ely to Baker, almost back where I started. And for resupply purposes, I've broken the route up into 10 sections. Just leaving Ely, Nevada here, taking my first steps out onto the Basin and Range Trail. The first steps of a long journey are as exciting as they are difficult. My first day is spent trying to make sense of what will become my life for the next 2 months. So this is a pretty good view, and from here you can see how there's a range, basin, and another range. And on its own, this is just one valley here, and that's meaningless. But this pattern of basin and range repeats itself throughout most of Nevada. And these mountains are typically tall, narrow, fault block mountains formed as the result of the earth being pulled apart here. And these forces have given rise to at least 314 named mountain ranges in Nevada, second only to Alaska. The beginning of a long hike is an adjustment period. The body needs time to adapt to changes in altitude, activity level, sleep schedule, and eating habits. After a few days to a week, this all becomes normal. But until then, the struggle is real. Really just kind of second guess yourself the whole time, like, can I even do this? But once you get moving, the aches and pains from the day before kind of go away, and somehow it's just possible. So I made my way all the way up this ridge line and down to this saddle, and just summited this peak, and I'm going to continue on down the ridge line all the way down this mountain range. I'm off trail now in just really thick woods. Oh man, there's really just no other way. And for me, the real adventure begins when I leave the trail behind. It just heightens your senses and you feel a little extra excitement. A trail takes you somewhere and you follow. Without a trail, you are free to roam as you please. And most of the greenness is really at the bottom. It's actually pretty clear. It's been hot, it's in the upper 80s. I've got a sunburn on my legs, blisters forming on both my feet, and I still have no appetite. I've eaten maybe 1,000 calories today, and I'm not even hungry. But it also messes with your mind. I just feel really slow, and I'll get an appetite back. It's just getting through these first couple of days. Welcome to Valley, Cave Valley. This sign was no match for the local shotgun. What you looking at, T-Bone? That's what I thought. And I'm tired, I'm sore, my feet hurt. But you know what? I feel truly alive for the first time since I walked the Continental Divide Trail in 2018. A full range of really intense emotions. Because I think the best way you can sum up a thru hike. Another 2 miles or so to the highway, where I'll try and hitch into town for my first resupply. All right, Highway 318, Lund, 30 miles that way. Just gotta see if we can get a hitch here. After resupplying my food for the next week and resting up, one of the guys at the motel was kind enough to drive me back to the spot I left off. My blisters are feeling better, I've got my appetite back, and now I'm ready to hit it. So this is Hot Creek Spring, a true desert oasis. Woo! It's totally unexpected. You would just never expect this walking around in the desert. What's the point of coming out here if you don't stop and go swimming in the most beautiful desert hot spring you've ever seen, you know? And right now, the way this route's going, you know, I wake up every morning and look at my maps and just kind of see how feasible my route actually is, you know? I'm making little alternate routes on the fly, and that means I don't even have the information on water sources that I originally had. Oh yeah, got a little bit of water in there. Wow, just a little bit. Now the water just drips into this bottle, and I don't have to hold it here and get bombarded by bees and flies and smell this rotting dead bird carcass. There's some wild horses approaching right here. I don't know if they see me. I think he sees me. He sees me and smells me. Man, it's such a wild place to be, just so empty. So vast, so empty. Yeah, another cave, definitely the biggest one yet. Pretty sure this is mountain lion crap. Clearly they like to use these caves. Oh, and look, and lest we forget, a hoof. There's like 4 big elk right there. After climbing 5,500 feet, I've reached the crest of the Grant Range. This one is wild and untouched. Beautiful, but tough as hell. God, all this stuff just... Look at this. You want to use a handhold here and none of this stuff is even stable. One of the biggest motivators for me is fear. If I can be totally honest, just fear of getting older and not having utilized my younger years to the fullest. You know, those leisurely hikes will be there for me when I get older. Why would I squander my younger years taking the easy route, you know? Absolutely wild. I just dislodged a big boulder. It came rolling down the hill and started pushing me with it. I was lucky that boulder didn't take me out and throw me over that cliff. Man, that was a close call. One wrong step out here and you're done. Well, I've reached my first pour off. Thankfully this one looks climbable. Thorn bushes on my cuts from earlier. And I wonder why my friends won't go hiking with me. My legs are gonna be like leather at the end of this trip. Boy, it sure is good to get these shoes off though. You know, the funny thing was I woke up yesterday and I was feeling really good. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had a feeling I might die that day. Then the boulder incident happened and you know, I had that brush with the boulder and the cliff. You know, the mountains don't always give you a second chance. I was lucky I got one yesterday. Well, here we go. It's time to drop down into Willow Creek, into the unknown. Do you see a way through this? Because this is the way. This is what I've been going through. I've been walking my way through this. Oh, I'm about to lose my mind. No way. Holy crap. Well, and this is it. This dead ends here. Follow the light. Man, how cool is that? Just when you think your day is really tough and you know, you busted your ass for nothing, you know, you get rewarded with something like this. After 6 hours of non-stop bushwhacking, the canyon finally let me out. Winds have got to be like 30 I'm fairly out of the wind here, as long as the wind doesn't change directions. I think just about everybody appreciates the beauty of the mountains, but the desert's definitely got its own vibe. Raw, you know, it's primitive, spiritual in a way. And that's only the first half. The other half is in here. There's only one town, if you can even call it a town, within a 70 air mile radius from my location. Nevada is the definition of empty. It's awesome. Now, this is actually an old volcanic crater called Lunar Crater. It's 3,600 feet across and 450 feet deep. Back in the 70s, NASA used this area as a training site to prepare astronauts for the Apollo moon missions. I got lucky and ran into two awesome guys at Lunar Crater who were kind enough to drive me 80 miles to Tonopah, the nearest town, so I can resupply. And this is all the debris that ended up in my bag from bushwhacking. And they're ready for another 120 miles. Always find it a bit of a surreal feeling, you know, to just be dropped back off in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, and this section is going to be pretty epic. If all goes well, I'll summit the high point of the Hot Creek, Monitor, and Tokima ranges, all here in the next few days. First night cowboy camping on this trip, in the shadows of Maury Peak there. Man, what a place to wake up to. Not a single sign of human life, activity, development, anything. Now, what you're looking at here is an obscure piece of American history. This is called Project Faultless. The shaft was drilled 3,300 feet underground, and a nuclear device with a yield of 1 megaton, 67 times more powerful than the bomb dropped in Hiroshima, was detonated here in 1968. And this shaft was originally flush with the surface, but after the explosion, the ground sank 9 feet. The boom and bust of Nevada's mining past has left all these old cabins, mining camps, and ghost towns. It's kind of hard to walk by without exploring for at least a couple minutes. And there's a dead mouse in here. Strategic Beer Command, Operation Buster Jangle. And this is Maury Peak, high point of the Hot Creek Range at 10,246 feet. Whoa! But this is a great, great view that kind of gives you a good perspective of the Basin and Range Trail and what it embodies, you know? You can kind of see, you know, a basin, a range running north and south, another basin or valley, and then, you know, it just repeats. And that's the state of Nevada, especially central Nevada. I really need to like contour around the hillside this way. And that looks completely horrible. This, man. This. Seriously. God damn it. And in some cases, there really just is no other way. If you want to connect point A to point B, you know, you're just going to have to put up with a short section of the worst hiking of your life. Yeah, box canyons like this can be one of the most difficult types of terrain to work through, but just absolutely awesome. You know, you really feel like you just stumbled on some sort of like lost world, you know. The stupid cow literally just charged me. Each one of these mountain ranges is different, unique in its own way. The only way to reveal their true character is up close, on foot. That's a rattlesnake. It's my first rattler.
Man, I stepped on a 1,000 bushes just like that.
After a 2,000-foot bushwhack, I've reached the crest of the Monitor Range.
Woo!
And this is probably my favorite kind of hiking right here. Walking along the edge of a huge drop-off with 100-mile views. It's moments like these that just make it all worth it. And to me, coming out to these kind of places is a reminder to make every day count. If you don't live life today, you probably won't live it tomorrow either. Out here, every day is fulfilling, even if it feels meaningless on the grand scale of things. I'm not sure where else one finds that kind of peace.
This is Danville Peak, 10,888 feet, the highest point in the Monitor Range.
And now I'm working my way up into the Toquima Range. I'm led to believe there's an actual trail system here.
Man, this place is incredible. I'll tell you what, that's a long way to walk from the top of that range all the way to the top of this range in one day. That's still an R to R, range to range.
It's been a week since I've left Tonopah, and I'm hoping to reach town tonight. Just one more mountain to climb, and then it's all downhill.
It's basically the final push up to the summit. Okay, I lied. Summit's up there. It's always another false summit to the summit. And one thing I always forget about hiking at high elevations is all the bugs. I just can't believe it. Like, what do they eat? Why are you here? Whoa, let out the flies, damn. So this is it, Mount Jefferson, 11,941 feet, highest point of the Toquima Range. So 3 high points of 3 different ranges in 5 days. But I still got like 20 miles to get into town. So I think it's time to head down off this mountain and get away from these flies. So what's the difference between a hobby and a passion? I think everybody has a hobby. I like to fish. Fishing is one of my favorite hobbies. It's not a passion, you know. I think one of the things that separates a hobby from a passion is emotion. Yeah! You come out here, yeah! Near-death experiences, personal accomplishments. It's a deep emotion that you never forget. I don't think everybody has a passion, which is unfortunate. I think when you have a passion, you truly believe in it, you know? When I got into town 2 nights ago, my body just said it was time to shut down. And after about 20 minutes, I tried to get out of bed and my back just gave out. After a much needed 0 day, feeling a little bit better and ready to go.
The lower reaches of these canyons can be pretty hit or miss. You never really know what you're going to get until you lay your eyes on it. But I can tell already, this one is going to be spectacular.
Oh, there's a cave up there. Hello. Anyone home?
Small caves like this make the perfect overnight shelters, really. Basic, natural, and comforting on a primal level.
And it's a wall of thorn bushes. Working on those leather legs though. And this is finally the crest. Toyabe Range, finally a bit of a payoff for all that hard work.
The Toyabis are a mighty range, just shy of 12,000 feet and the longest in Nevada. With a halfway decent trail to follow, this should be a pretty nice walk up here on the crest.
Well, it's pretty dry up here on the crest. Not a lot of water. So I'm gonna collect some snow and just take this with me.
There are few things that compare to walking the crest of a mountain range at sunset. The fading rays of sunlight seem to infiltrate our minds with a million thoughts at once. Our biggest dreams, fears, regrets, and then everything seems to melt away into a moment of clarity. How lucky we are to be right here, right now. And these are the moments we live for.
This mud has some serious suction to it, so I'm trying to lay some logs down. Oh yeah. I guess I'll go this way. Just made it up on the pass! Damn, is it windy! If you look above the mountain ridges, you can just see a layer of like almost light brown, and that's all that sand that's just getting kicked up in the air. These straps on my backpack were whipping me in the face, getting bitch slapped by my backpack. So I saw this on the map. It's the Kingston Guard Station, and it looks abandoned. There's like a bird or something nesting in there. I can hear it. Man, they stocked up on the forks though. They got thousands and thousands of forks and knives. I guess they don't like doing dishes? Imagine the rangers that used to work here and the stories they had. Jiminy cricket. It's the biggest cricket I've ever seen.
These are Mormon crickets. They can grow up to 3 inches long and can swarm in the millions.
Look at them all. There's like 50 or 60 just right here. So that's called Stokes Castle. So the castle was built as a summer home for a prominent railroad magnate's son. Well, pretty much your standard abandoned building, except that it's a castle.
And here we are in the town of Austin, bustling metropolis with a population of 113. The nearest grocery store is 70 miles, so I've mailed myself a food box here to resupply. Hey there, chicken. I'm leaving Austin now and heading east. I'm trying to avoid roadblocks, but will briefly walk Highway 50, the loneliest highway in America.
So this section from Austin to Eureka, kind of consider it like a filler section, you know? It's not, certainly not going to be one of the highlights of the trail, but you need to do it to connect the Toyabis to the Diamond Range. Tell you what, you know you're somewhere kind of cool when there's a lot of stickers on things. So I've reached my first hot spring in the Spencer Hot Springs complex here. I've heard it's a bit warm. Oh yeah.
I'll camp here at the hot springs this evening and have a soak. But first, I'm gonna explore this old mine and do some rock hounding.
Danger, unsafe mine. Oh, of course it's not gonna be safe, come on now.
And this is one of many old abandoned mines scattered throughout Nevada.
So there's these veins that are running through these rocks that are just full of garnets. I mean, you can just see them. Then the burros came in at night and they were quite annoying, making all sorts of loud, obnoxious noises in the middle of the night, stomping around near my tent, just being all around jackasses. So when walking through thick sagebrush like this, you basically get two kinds of encounters. Scrapers and stabbers. And the scrapers are like these, where you just kind of brush through and you scrape your legs as you walk, and you kind of get used to that. And the ones you want to watch out for are the stabbers, where you get like a broken off branch and it's like a really sturdy piece of wood and it just stabs you. Feels like your leg just got impaled. Scrapers and stabbers. Welcome to Nevada. First trees, that's always a great sign. Kind of be out of the open, exposed basin and valley. And like always, if you're just a little patient with your campsite, get a nice one like this. So the plan is to go up and over this mountain. This is kind of where the road stops, right up here at this little saddle. We shall see what happens.
We'll just ride around the hills. I think Eric's gonna stay the night with us.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Time to start drinking some beer.
That's what I'm talking about. Now I get to say sayonara to Summit Mountain. What?
Those assholes just drive by this girl that's walking down the road, don't even say hi or pick her up.
Yeah, really. Well, she didn't have her thumb out.
I guess that was probably it. Where are you headed?
Boy, you look out of place. Little taste of luxury, even out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
This granite countertop.
You met the locals. We like to be called locals.
Really appreciate you guys picking me up and taking me in for the night.
I enjoyed the visit.
Yeah,
It's kind of neat.
In this last section, you know, I got picked up by the Terrace family and base of Summit Mountain there, and just kind of took 4th of July off and, you know, hung out with them and cruised around the 4x4s and drank beer and ate steak and just did like a normal human being thing, you know, for a holiday. And it just felt great, you know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's more to long distance hiking than simply hiking, and you're kind of missing out if you look at it from, you know, only a hiking mindset. So that's what I took away from the last section. I think it's a pretty valuable lesson for me to learn.
I've got about 500 miles on these pair of shoes, and you can see the tread is just like completely worn off. Solid, thick, beefy tread, whereas this one's just smooth. Just finished resupplying in Eureka, finally setting out onto one of the sections I've been looking forward to the most, the Diamond Mountains and the Ruby Mountains. Both have gemstone names. Figured they've got to be pretty good, right?
Now this is what you call a ridge walk. This is awesome.
These are the kind of moments I dreamt about when I was planning this hike. Walking the crest of these unsung mountain ranges just to see what's out there. And you feel like you're on top of the world. And for all intensive purposes, you are, you know, you're on top of your own world, your own existence, right now.
The sun's about to go down. Hasn't been anywhere to camp. Nothing on that side, nothing on this side. Nightmare bushwhack to end the day.
Man, what a wild place to make camp, you know? Very top of a ridgeline like this. Amazing view.
And there's not a single sign of human use up here. Horses make the only trails.
Rest easy, my friend.
It's an amazing place to walk, but like the rest of Nevada, there's a reason why it's so untouched.
Whoa, there is water. I don't know how you collect from it. I can't even bend down to get it. I'm gonna have to go downhill. Another 14-hour day of hiking. Here's camp for the night under a tree with a bunch of cow shit that I had to move out of the way. The shadow of the rubies there, so I'll be up there tomorrow. And this is one of the Pony Express stations, Jacob's Well. Man, not much left. It's good to know, but where's the food court? That's what I want to know. And it only operated from 1860 to 1861, and they were able to get mail all the way from the West Coast all the way to Missouri in 10 days, which was basically unprecedented at the time, you know? So, pretty cool piece of history. I'm thirsty as hell. I still got a ways to go to water. Oh man, that's a beautiful sight. Listen to that dripping water. That's gonna work. It's cold. Oh, it's perfect. Quite a bit heavier now with 5 liters. But man, I'm glad to have 5 liters on my back and 2.5 in my stomach. And this is the final push up to Pearl Peak. And going up on this one's not what I'm worried about. It's going down. You'll see. There's that ridge going down here. The feeling of falling, you know, like if you slip on something and then you catch yourself and you're like, oh, I almost fell, you know? And then, you know, you got that sinking feeling in your gut. Every f***ing step is like that.
And this marks the beginning of the Ruby Crest Trail. The next 38 miles or so are said to be one of the crown jewels of Nevada's limited system of hiking trails. The Rubies are the most heavily glaciated range in the Great Basin, as well as the wettest. There's nothing subtle about the beauty of these mountains.
It's Overland Lake down there. Man, that is gorgeous.
Most of the other mountain ranges in Nevada are made of porous rock like limestone, but there's a lot of granite here in the Rubies, and that allows these lakes to form.
Pretty good view. No complaints.
So the Rubies are really the only range along the BRT where I was actually expecting to see other hikers. And there was a group of about 10 people camped at the lake last night. One girl I talked to had hiked the PCT last year. She made it all the way to the end, the final 100 miles south of the Canadian border, and suffered a fractured hip. Can you imagine the heartbreak, hiking almost 6 months and going through that right at the end?
It's great, I love it. Woo! Ruby Crest Trail.
Oh dang. Hardcore, look at that. That's how you know you're dealing with a thru hiker. No regard to foot dryness. I just can't make any progress. I just keep looking back and I'm like, just in awe. I'm just leaving Farv Lake. That's where Fafa is camping tonight. So we hiked most of the day together and it was really nice. Just having somebody to talk to, another thru hiker. Probably the most enjoyable day, I think, for me so far in Nevada. Right on the other side of that pass, Liberty Pass, is Road's End Trailhead. And I've got a ride waiting for me in less than an hour. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Last 2 days were really nice. The 4 days before that were rough as hell.
I bet.
Oh, you're in the Beamer?
You believe it.
Riding in style.
Something like that.
This is Cody's backyard. Cody is one of the guys that picked me up on the 4th of July. Fed me steak and beer. Got me to take a day off. He's gonna join me for a couple of days. And we got ourselves a bit of a view. Like knock him down with your foot. Yeah, exactly.
Bring a machete.
See, I say bring Edward Scissorhands as a you know,
Wouldn't that
you know,
be slick?
yeah. He could just chop his way through.
Come on, Johnny Depp. Whoa, my man.
Okay, I like ice cream and I'll eat bananas, but
Put 'em together.
adding banana does not enhance ice cream. You're making ice cream worse. There's no way that anybody's like, you know what would make this ice cream better? A banana. It's
So
like,
many
no.
people though. What are you guys doing? You're doing this all wrong.
Yeah.
Chocolate dip this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
So what sounds a goat make?
It's about as close as it gets, man.
Currants, huh?
Currant.
They're kind of bland.
They are very bland. It's like a mulberry of the desert.
Well, shit, man, you got to be pretty happy. You did 20 miles in basically 24 hours. Yeah, man, good for you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
That's a good job. 20. Seriously.
How are you? Good to see you.
You too.
How goes it, man?
Oh, it's going good.
Well, friend, I don't know when I'll see you again. But
man.
please get a hold of me the next time you're in Nevada.
Had a absolutely awesome time last day. Just having somebody to hike with and you know, share the experience with, even if it wasn't the greatest section of trail, was just really awesome. And you know, for a trail like this, and you're doing the whole thing by yourself, any kind of human contact like that, it's just great. Ow. That was a stabber. Ah, come on. So I'll definitely be out of the Ruby Mountains tonight. And then that range over there is the East Humboldt Range. And maybe I can make it a little ways up into one of the lower canyons this evening. What kind of nightmare awaits me next? And starting a climb like this is always pretty daunting to me. Through all this thick brush, bushwhacking, big climb. It's just, you know it's gonna be hard work. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to suck it up and just kind of take the beating the mountain gives to you. I can't imagine this being the way. But I'm pretty committed to this horrible route. It's got branch slapped in the face. It's actually 1,000 feet from the bottom all the way to the top up there. Approaching the base of the climb, have a look at it. Basically gotta like grab branches to help climb up. I've done a lot of bushwhacking, especially on this trail, but nothing like this.
it's truly amazing what we can do when we have to. And these kind of hikes really put you in those situations. And nothing feels better than doing something you didn't think was possible.
Whoa! In your face, Fourth Boulder Creek!
Wilderness gives us those opportunities to test ourselves. And that's a big part of what drives me. And now I'm working my way up into the Pequot Range, or the Peakoops, as I called them, until I was corrected several times by the locals.
There's a big pond down there, so I definitely have water. Sure, it's gonna be nasty though. How you doing?
Oh, just out doing a hike, huh?
Day 50. I started in Ely 50 days ago.
Are you
I'm
serious?
just doing a loop around Nevada, going back to Ely.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. My name's Kim, by the way.
Eric.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
You're welcome to come down to my ranch and camp out in our yard if you'd like.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, if you got nothing to do tomorrow, come out and join me.
Yeah.
You know, I was moments away from filtering swamp water, and now I've got a nice solid place to camp for the night. Good clean water, and even a meal. So, can't believe it. I love it. Mountain bikes welcome.
One of the things I take away most from my journeys is the generosity that people are so eager to show a weary traveler, a stranger basically. It's the kind of thing that has a way of restoring your faith in humanity. It's the way you wish the entire world could operate.
And you've been here 27 years, huh?
Yep.
What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force. I flew C-141s, which was a transport.
Oh, okay, so you were a pilot. That's awesome.
And just up the way here, Tim tells me there's an F-111 plane crash on the mountainside.
My thinking is the reason the parts are scattered so much is that the train following radar made an attempt at pulling up, and so it kind of hit, and because it wasn't going straight into the mountain, just kind of scattered parts all over here, and then they're even scattered on the far side of the ridge there. So,
and here's camp for the night. Got ourselves a nice little spot protected by this tree.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me and just the company. It's been great just having somebody to chat with.
I mean, I was amazed at all the research you've done on this.
Yeah, it'd be scary to come out here if you hadn't, you know.
Okay,
Take care.
you too, Eric.
And now I gotta find my way around this rock face to continue along this ridge line. Yeah, it's a little bit of exposure there. This stuff's all limestone, super sharp. Oh man, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to even just use your hands on this stuff. It's so sharp.
And looking out to the east is the Bonneville Salt Flats, a massive dried lake bed that covers about 30,000 acres. Vastness on this scale is difficult to comprehend. This is the crest of the Goshute Range. It gets practically zero visitation, and I'm beginning to wonder how such an incredible place can just fly under the radar. Never mind why, it's just great to know places like this still exist. This is what I came here for.
I'm kind of getting funneled down here. I'm trying to work my way up here. And there's cliffs on one side and thick trees on the other side. Ah! Branch just scraped my forehead. Ow! Ah! So I just spent an hour coming down from there, so like 200 feet. Like 200 feet in an hour. Gotta work my way across this whole ridgeline here. So if it's gonna be a bushwhack through more of the same stuff, it's gonna be pretty gnarly. Be lucky to get out of this shit in the dark.
Yesterday's bushwhack was the toughest yet along this route. It certainly inflicted the most pain, most damage. It's simply the price of admission out here. The reason why this place is so untouched.
The water collects down here. It falls into this gutter, and then I believe it goes into a tank that is then piped over to this, they call it a drinker. And you can see the green tint on this one, that's for sure. There's no hiding that. Just tell yourself it's lemon lime flavored.
Most of the time these basins are covered by sagebrush, but here it's this really nice golden grass. Easy to walk through, and something about it is just so calming.
Oh, here comes a car. Better try my luck hitching. So look, Wendover Will welcomes you to West Wendover.
Just got to ride back to where I left off. Back out into the heat of the desert for another round of adventure. The mountains have a way of drawing us in with their beauty, comforting us and blinding us to their dangers. And deserts do the exact opposite. They often appear barren and harsh, more so than they really are. There is something so satisfying about traversing these vast desert landscapes.
Yeah, so I've been walking for almost 2 months now, and I remember my time on the CDT. It's kind of around this time, and I just sort of felt like pretty much forget about your life at home, you know. This is your life now. This is your home. It's all you know. It's kind of where I'm at now. All right, holy shit. A bolt of lightning just hit the top of the mountain right there. Very, very, very loud. Got nowhere to go here.
And now I'll just stay on this ridgeline for a bit until I hit Antelope Peak, the high point of the Kinsley Range. This is a very small mountain range, very obscure. That certainly doesn't take away from these views.
There's nothing like being on a summit at sunset. Thinking right here will do. So that's gonna be a nice spot to lay my head down tonight.
Well, that's pretty much it for the Kinsley Range. Today I'll make my way into the Antelope Range and then the Shell Creek Range. So I've got a lot of ground to cover. Better get walking.
Hey there, little guy. What you doing, buddy? Are you stuck? Aw. I don't know what this guy's deal is. He's like stuck in the tree here. Come on, buddy. There you go. Well, at least you're out of the tree. Now what are you gonna do? The world's your oyster. So that's all the Shell Creek Range where I'm headed right now. Boy, is it looking dark. Well, I'm glad I didn't go all the way up to the saddle. It's windy enough here. Damn. There's rattlesnake number 2 under the rock there. I'm probably about 10 feet away. All right, we'll let him be. Well, this is the summit of Becky Peak. Man, what a view. Everybody knows that saying, money can't buy happiness. Now the older I get, and the less I care about those things, really. I think it's all about the experiences, the memories that you make that are really worth it. And that's why hikes like this are so special to me, because it's just kind of like making a lifetime's worth of memories, you know, in a couple of months. It's so hot. It's so hot. Man, am I glad I'm not down in the valley today. It's 97 degrees in Ely, which is the closest town.
Evenings are my favorite time to walk. The heat of the day has died down, sunlight is fading, and it's time to reflect upon the trials and triumphs of the day. It's so good to end the day on a positive note.
Well, now I'm road walking. Nobody ever stops for a hiker on a paved highway. On a dirt road though, I don't even have to put my thumb out. They just stop and say, hey man, you all right? Or just stare at you like, what are you doing?
And his new buddy Dave here is gonna catch
Dave is gonna catch him with that frog.
I would eat this frog.
The vehicle was going by in the opposite direction that I wanted to go. And they stopped anyway for me and said, hey, you know, do you need a lift? And I said, yeah, but the other way where you just came from. And they said, well, actually, we're going fishing. And if you want to join us, you can come fishing and we'll take you to the campground later tonight. And I said, sure, why not? So now I'm here at Cave Lake State Park with my new friends, Dave and Donna. And it's another one of those amazing moments where I never thought I'd be fishing on this beautiful lake when I woke up this morning, but here I am.
Well, this is it, the final section of the Basin and Range Trail. It's going to be 101 degrees today, and I've got a 6,000 foot climb ahead of me to get up to Mount Moriah.
Looks like this is where the road ends, and hopefully it's the beginning of a trail. Man, it's like a jungle through here. I have no idea if I'm actually on whatever the trail is supposed to be. This has got to be a game trail. Of course, these are all like, ow, thorn bushes. Oh wow, little waterfall. Wow, look at that. It's the backside of Mount Moriah. That is impressive.
And these are bristlecone pine trees, literally the oldest living things on the planet. And these trees can live to be over 4,800 years old.
Let's look at the size of this thing. It's massive.
Well, camp tonight is at 11,200 feet, which I believe is maybe one of my highest camps yet, if not the highest so far.
I mean, I just love mornings like this. You know, you just kind of see like this haze in the valley, and you just see like layer after layer of mountains. Something about it is like mysterious and alluring, you know? Anyways, now it's time to climb up there to Mount Moriah. Well, here it is, the summit block of Mount Moriah, 12,067 feet. Highest I think I've been so far in the BRT. So I'll follow this canyon all the way out here, out into Snake Valley, around the south side of Mount Moriah, and then it's time to start heading to Great Basin National Park. Through hiking is such a unique experience in the sense that, you know, you're basically able to just kind of pick up and leave your existing life as you know it behind for, you know, a month or 2 or 6 months or however long your hike is, and just live a life that's completely free of all the obligations I think that typically, you know, weigh us down and just kind of wear on our minds. And the lower I get in this canyon, the more impressive it really is. I literally can't stop looking up. It's like 95 degrees out and I've got chills. And you can really tell the landscape's changing now. Pretty much just looks like a barren desert. So I'm headed over to that pass right there. And as you can see just in the distance, see that mountain peak there, that's Wheeler Peak at Great Basin National Park. It's just so fitting that it's right there in the pass and that's where I'm going, you know? Very cool. It's a pretty surreal feeling to have my endpoint in sight now. Been on trail for over 2 months. On one hand, ready for this hike to be over. I'm tired of climbing, tired of bushwhacking. On the other hand, I'm not really looking forward to going back home and trying to piece together some sort of meaningful life again. You know, out here, I feel like I've got meaning and purpose, even if it isn't always enjoyable. But back at home, I just always feel like I'm kind of living life in between adventures.
It's early August now, and the temperatures have been pretty consistently hovering around 100 degrees for the past week or so. I'm fortunate that I handle the heat pretty well, but it's getting hot, even for me.
Now it's your turn. 2 months on trail for this moment. Let's do it. Today's my last full day of hiking in Nevada. I can be honest, it gives me chills saying that. 2 months of hiking about to come to a close tomorrow. This is one wicked ridgeline.
Well, this is Baker Peak, 12,300 feet, and this is the 4th highest mountain in Nevada.
Woo! Really echoes down that canyon. That's awesome. Well, next up, Wheeler Peak. I mean, this place it's pretty slow walking as it is with the terrain being the way it is with all the rocks and everything. But then you add scenic beauty and everything, and I feel like I'm getting nowhere today. But that's okay. That's what today is for. And this here is the true summit of Wheeler Peak, 13,063 feet. Second tallest peak in Nevada, and the highest point on the Basin and Range Trail. Woo! 66 days on trail. You know, when I first got to Nevada, I remember looking out from my first high point like this, and just, you know, having the feeling of mystery, you know. Now I look out at this land and I see memories. I wanted this hike to be over so bad, and now I'm a little bit sad to see it end. I would say to anybody that's never taken on a challenge that maybe, you know, feels like a little bit out of your league, you can do it, you know. Set yourself an amazing goal. Plan something outrageous. Don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of not realizing your full potential.
Day 67, my final day on trail.
I think there's this expectation that finishing this kind of journey is this overjoyous moment. But on this hike, there are no monuments at the end. There's nobody or nothing waiting for me at the finish line. The physical endpoint is arbitrary and meaningless. So for me, my symbolic endpoint was the summit, Wheeler Peak. But I still have a half day's walk down to the town of Baker, population 58.
So before I get too close to town, I think I need to let off a little steam before people think I'm a little nuts.
Woo! My emotions are varied and intense. The truth is, I am still searching for the words.
67 days of Nevada.
I've walked deserts to endless horizons, counted a lifetime's worth of stars, conquered some of Nevada's finest mountain ranges, and walked with wild horses. I discovered mines, waterfalls, hot springs, ghost towns. I slept in a cave, found arrowheads, petrified wood, garnets, and other treasures. What few people I did encounter were eager to help me in any way they could, offering water, rides to town, hot meal, bed, and shower. And the outdoors has a way of bringing out the best in people and restoring my faith in humanity. These moments did not come easy. I bushwhacked my way through hell and back, testing my sanity more times than I could count. I dodged lightning strikes, battled thirst and triple-digit temperatures, blisters and sunburns, scrapers and stabbers. I finally earned my leather legs in the end. And now all this is over. I think the thing that makes ending this hike easier for me is not to think of it as the end of the greatest adventure of my life, but a stepping stone to an even greater one. And the original route I had planned was just shy of 1,100 miles. I knew I wouldn't hike that exact route though. There are just too many variables and unknowns to draw a line and just stick to it. So the route I ended up hiking was 950 miles. This route now will undergo revisions and improvements, making for an even better experience for the next hiker, should he or she be willing to take on the Basin and Range Trail. No matter which route you take on the BRT, they all lead to the adventure of a lifetime.
Basin and Range Trail, complete.